second question, and I'm not sure the appetite of my fellow councillors on this, but with the Domain, we're allowed 3 there. And at the moment, and I see Phil Everett is here, or was, the Domain is undergoing a whole lot of roadworks and a realignment, which is going to be around that area where they're currently allowed. And we know that the Papamoa Surf Club are ready to redevelop, and that will be a long project over a couple of years. So I'm wondering if there's any appetite, Mr Chair, to perhaps remove Domain Road at this point in time and review it again when the bylaw is reviewed next time. It's going to be a really busy area. It's busy anyway with the surf club over summer, and you put in a realignment and a surf club project. I just think it might not be a good idea at this time.
What I propose to do, Councillor Brown, is we'll go through the response to submissions page by page and the recommendations, and at that time you can raise it as something we can debate. Yeah. Do you have a further response?
In response to that, we are proposing in the draft bylaw to include the powers for the to the CE to be able to temporarily change areas, for instances where things are happening in reserves, like events or construction or those sorts of things, where it's not appropriate at that time for a temporary period to allow freedom camping. So that is to avoid having to do a re-review of the freedom camping bylaw to reintroduce freedom camping when we're not changing the number of designated vehicles allowed in that area. We're just saying currently, due to the issues, it's not appropriate for freedom camping to happen over this period of time.
Councillor Brown.
As I sort of mentioned before, I would be in favour of actually prohibiting freedom camping at Papamoa Domain for a large number of reasons. We've got Stella Place, which is some 500 metres away, and I've been up there, and there happens to be a restaurant that I frequent, and the parking sign, the signage about the freedom camping is right there, and they just drive straight past it. They're always parking outside the toilets. They're not parking in the restricted area. We've got a huge community project beginning there shortly. We're redesigning it. We've got the Surf Lifesaving Club there that need all the parking they can get. So I would be in favour of removing Papamoa Domain permanently.
Okay, colleagues, my view being that should we adopt this bylaw today, well, we won't be adopting it, we'll be recommending it to Council, but the CE has sufficient delegation to temporarily close some car parks. That would be my view, but just testing the waters, I think we've got a nice clean one here. No change to the bylaw or prohibit freedom camping at Papamoa Domain. So I would put to you a straw poll, prohibit freedom camping at Papamoa Domain. Those who are of that opinion, please raise your hands. Those who are not of that opinion, please raise your hands. Okay, so thank you, we've addressed that point. First of all, before we have up on screen those two matters which we discussed earlier in the morning, Councillor Brown has been in receipt of some supplementary information regarding the Papamoa Domain. Would you like to raise that with us, Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Mr Chair, and I hate to be a dog with a bone, but just speaking with staff, apparently under freedom camping it's allowed anywhere other than for 3 particular reasons, which is largely around safety and public safety, public access and not restricting the public to have access, and protecting an area. And during the break I spoke to Senior Sergeant Tristan Murray, who's here from the Papamoa Police, and I'd like to ask him if he can please report back to us about some of the issues that he's seen experiencing in this Papamoa Domain area, if that's okay with you, Mr Chair.
Absolutely, we're outside of standing orders, so yes.
Obviously a newbie to council meetings. Okay, Sergeant Tristan Murray here from Papamoa Police. I've been policing in the Papamoa area the mountain Papamoa area for the last 5 years, so I'm fairly intimate with the freedom camping and where it is and what the issues are. In regards to the domain, there's about 3, I think it is, parks on the grass on the left-hand side as you come past the toilet block there. My recent observations of that area is it's getting very chewed up, and it's in a little basin in that area there, and it's becoming a little enclave of freedom campers on both sides of the road. It's got very good facilities with the toilets and the barbecues areas, and it's actually restricting the public parking in there. It's creating a lot of rubbish around that area. If you know some freedom campers, and I'm talking mainly the ones that live in the van and have got all their worldly possessions in a van, certainly not your high-end freedom campers, on a daily basis they pull everything out of that van to air out the van and to dry and do their washing in their clothing. So it's quite an eyesore down there at the Domain. The other problem that area has is we've had vans down there broken into because it's quite isolated, so when they're on the beach they can't see their van, and vice versa. If an offender goes into that area they can operate pretty much without anyone else seeing as well. There's plenty of freedom camping along Papamoa. Within a 2.5k distance you've got Beach Grove Holiday Park. Across the road from that at Harrison's Cut you've got freedom camping on hard standing, which is good, and I don't have any issues with that. There's never any problems down there. Coming down to Stella Place at the Pony Club, you've obviously got that freedom camping on the prime spot at the front of the car park. Totally agree with your motion about moving that to the rear, because with the handicap parking and it all being nicely marked out at the moment, they are taking a significant amount of that front area, an area that possibly could be utilised better by people that are visiting there at lunchtimes, etc., rather than people that are camping there. And then you've got another camping ground, and then you've got another freedom parking spot in the Domain. So either side of this camping ground, which is available to anyone, obviously at cost, you've got these two areas. The Stella Place area is fine because it's hard standing, but the Domain one is just becoming a bit of an eyesore and a bit of a mess, and I believe it's going to continue to be so. It almost becomes a little village around that little area, and if you go down there at certain times of the day when they're airing out their vans and throwing everything out on the ground and basically doing their washing and what have you, it's not a good look. And we have had those vans broken into whilst they're using the beach, and their van and all their worldly possessions are out of sight. So that was a contribution I just wanted to make clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Murray. Councillor Brown, you wish to raise again via straw poll no change to the bylaw or prohibit freedom camping at the Papamoa Domain. So I'll raise that again. Colleagues, is there an appetite to prohibit freedom camping at the Papamoa Domain? Those who are of that opinion, please raise your hand. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's majority. Those opposed? That's 2. Okay, and then I'm on the other side, so that's 7. Yep, okay, we'll incorporate that into the omnibus resolution.